1 minute. Let me just. Yeah. Okay. So we say our prayers first. Om Sumitriyana Apaha Oshadaya Santu Durmitriya Tasmai Mastu Yo Asman Dveshi Yam Chavayam Dvishmaha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You people haven't had breakfast today. Lunch rather.
What? We
No,
must have had an extra heavy one.
maybe. Okay. So any problems from last time? No. Okay. So then recap. Samya Veshamyabhyam Karya Dvayam. Who wants to take up?
Yeah, can I take it up?
Please, Mala, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I will. I'm just giving 1 minute. Yeah. See, the gunas that are there is essentially the the pradhanya, because one minute. Sorry. 1 minute. Yeah. So the pradhana has the 3 gunas, which is it's its form. It is not different from they are not two different things, is what Kapila is trying to say. So in the same thing, he also says that the pradhana creates the universe, though it itself is not benefiting from it. By giving the camel and the saffron, it carries the saffron, but then it's not enjoying itself.
That is from previous to previous day.
Yeah.
Which class?
You have to take 40 seconds.
Mala, 42.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
Can somebody
I'll just give
take
a
it,
brief.
please?
Yeah,
Can somebody take it up?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Vimukta Bodhat na srishti pradhanasya lokam.
Samya
Oh,
Veshamya.
Samya Vaishamyabhyam Karyadvayam. So here Kapila is trying to explain that pradhana, that is the inference that you have given us, that the pradhana in its karana form has the samyatva of the three gunas, rajo, rajas, tama and sattva guna. But in the manifested form of the loka, all the objects in the loka seem to have imbalanced proportions of that, including the living beings, clearly. So here the Kapila is trying to indicate that there are 2 types of karyas. One is with Samya and another is with Vaishamya. But though in Loka we only seem to recognize Vaishamyas only, and Samya is only understood as the primitive form by us. That's what this verse is about.
We are not clear on what the other karya is which he is indicating, because he has indicated it as a karya, and that is not clear to us how it can be a karya. But there must be some karya, which is
especially because you have even defined the karyatva of something that is vyapaka like pradhana is only possible when there is Vaishamya. That is due to density difference, as you described.
No, but the Samya stays only during the Pralaya's time.
One minute, Rohit. So I didn't get what you were saying, Anuj.
No, because the karyatva is possible when something is not actually vyapaka. So you indicated to us that the karyatva is due to the imbalances of presence of the pradhana, and that creates the karyatva and creates srishti. So Vaishamya is the reason for srishti, is how you described then.
No, you are confusing 2 concepts. So like Akash is vyapak. However, properties start showing up when there is a differentiation, when there is Vaishamya. So, to imagine a state where there is Samya and it is still not primordial is difficult to conceptualize. So that is why there is that confusion. How, if everything is Samya only, then how it can be a Karya? That is not clear. But Karyas need not be non-pervasive. Akash is something which is omnipresent.
Okay, okay. One of the manifestations is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So even things like okay, Mehet may not be Mahat, that is Buddhi, may not be all pervasive, that is true. But definitely Akash is one of those karyas which is all pervasive. Okay, is it clear? Any questions here?
Oh.
Yes, Gauri, you had a question, I think.
No, actually, here also says no. First we can see the samyata which we cannot see at all. But the moment the three gunas in the equal equal amount is there, then there is a samyatva. It happens only at the time of a pralaya. That's what is being said here. No, during the pralaya time, it comes back to the same status where all the three gunas are all in the same quantity.
Yeah. Correct.
And whereas we can the moment the creation starts, at that time the buddhi is the one. So that could be seen. Is it true? I'm not able to make it out.
No, buddhis are also sattvic, tamasic, and rajasic. So buddhi is already the differentiation between sattva, raja, and tama has happened. So it has to be, if there is a karya which has samyavastha, it has to be before buddhi.
Even before the buddhi, the samyavastha.
Yes, if there is a karya like that. Or we take it as during pralaya, whatever is a state of pradhana, then that is what is being mentioned here. That is an alternate explanation.
Okay.
Okay. Vimukta bodhan na srishtihi pradhanasya lokavat.
Shall I try?
Sure.
Okay. Here the Kapila says that the moment the person becomes viveki or atmagyani, then pradhana stops dishing bhogas for him. Just like the cook, the moment he finishes his cooking, his work is done. So similarly, for the viveki, whatever the bhogas he has to do it, he has already exhausted, done it, and he has become a atmanyani. Yeah. And that's he gave the example of that. And Prakriti's job is, or Pradhana's job is, for the human being to get the moksha. That is the ultimate goal for the everyone. So for that only the Pradhana creates so many bhogartas create, and the moment it completes, that particular person becomes a viveki. But still the Pradhana keeps on creating some of the bhogas for other people because they have not reached to that level.
Exactly.
That's what exactly Vibhakta Bhoktana says that.
Correct. So continuing from there, we go into the next sutra.
Uttara question.
Yeah, sure.
See, does the pradhan stop throwing things at you like good or bad, or the viveki stops being affected by it?
So probably both happen, Kala. There are some things which Pradhana is actively creating for you, and some things which might happen. Okay, so for example, some bhakta of this rishi may come to that sage and say, here's a bowl of payasam for you. So in that case, even if the seer has it, he will actually not taste it. So yeah, so on the other hand, also the what comes to us in general by different means, which is supposed to be our bhoga, that will probably completely stop.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that is why probably even aging stops for such a person. And in fact, he might grow younger. So any um, issues which you have because of age, those also start going away, and the person becomes healthy, hale, and hearty.
Oh, actually, my second question had, I mean, funny you should have brought it up. I was just thinking yesterday, like whatever we experience now is because of our previous karma and whatever we have done, right?
Mm.
So why do the physical issues show up more when you are older? Is there any reason?
So that is God's creation, that as we age, there is a depletion of our strength. And there are some bhogas which are there at that age of our life. So that is part of his system.
Okay, so, okay,
Yeah.
got it. So better to become Viveki soon to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so now I'm going to mute all of you.
Uttira,
Yeah.
pravritti mean getting in, is it? And nivritti mean get out, is it? Is the meaning? Pravritti, what is the meaning of pravritti and nivritti?
Pravritti means being engaged in something.
Okay.
So if you are studying something, then it will be said that you are pravritta in that study. And if you leave, you are through with something, then you say nivritti, that you have finished your studying, so you are nivrit of your studies.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so please mute yourself, and now we start the class. नान्योपसर्पणेऽपि मुक्तोपभोगो निमित्ताभावात्. So this continues from the previous sutra. It says that even when Prakriti is going towards other people to give them bhogas, other souls, that is, for the mukt person, that is the Jivan mukt person, the person who has acquired Vivek but is still attached to a body, that person, for that person, upabhog is not there. Upabhog is equal to bhog only. So that is not there. Nimitta bhavat, because of a lack of a cause. So what is this cause? I think you can tell me now. Can anyone answer?
Karma pala is nashya.
No.
Mukti, no?
Mukti, no.
No,
Why do you
just
experience bhoga, and why do you not experience bhoga? That is the question.
because you've already attained Viveka, right?
Viveka, that is the cause. That because of Viveka, the aviveka which was leading to the bhoga is, and which is the nimitta for the bhoga, is not there. So therefore, there is no bhog for the mukta person. So the questions you were asking, Kala, that same thing is also replied to here. That even if something comes to the mukt person, even if Prakriti comes, first of all, it will stop any srishti for this person. Even if by chance something comes because of some other person or something like that, then also there will be no bhog for the muktatma, because the muktatma is very clear that this is not me, I end here, and this is happening to the body. So it's like the car. The tent will come on the car, it will not be felt by the Jivan Mukt person.
he doesn't get attached to that particular
Attachments have gone long before. That Vairagya happened long ago. But Vivek still may not have come. So this situation is being described after Viveka. Even after you have attained Virakti, you've heard of those seers being very attached to their kamandalu or even their dhoti or whatever it is. So because that Vivek has not been reached, even though sannyas has been taken up. So this situation which is being described is for those of you who had studied Yoga Darshanam, when Dharma Megha Samadhi has set in, which is what is that? Viveka Khyati Aviplava. That is a state is described as Dharma Megha Samadhi, which is actually not a samadhi, it is a living state. So in that state, you are always aware of your separate presence, your separate entity, and the separate entity shape of the body. So that is the state which is being described here.
Okay, so karma phala is upadana karana for birth and nimitta karana is aviveka. Okay.
Karma phala upadana karana is not really a good way of saying it. It is a nimitta karana for birth, etc. But for bhog, avivek is the main cause. So this Jivan Mukt person is also, he is living. He has a body attached to himself. But the bhog stops as soon as you start seeing the distinction.
Okay.
Okay. This karma is also a nimitta karan only for your birth, jati, ayu, bhoga. What bhoga will come to you, and that is determined by your karma only. Whether you experience it as a bhoga, that is being discussed now. That bhoga may, as I told you, some disciple may bring some paisam to you because they are very happy with your teachings or whatever. So for the sage, that paisam will have no taste whatsoever. Okay, clear? Okay, assuming it is clear, the next sutra again goes into that Advaitavad and Dvaitavad, which we are having this discussion on last time. But it follows from this sutra that you are seeing two distinct behaviors between the Jivan Mukta person and the a person who is still living in this world, who is experiencing upabhoga. So Kapila says, Purusha Bahutvam Vyavasthataha. You may recall this sutra. It had come earlier also. 1 second, please. So in the first chapter, 114th sutra was there, where he had said Janmadi Vyavasthataha Purusha Bahutvam. So here, if you recall, Purush meant soul, and there are many souls because of the system, Vyavastha. Okay, so what he means is that if one person is experiencing one thing, that is upabhoga, and there is this Jivan Mukta person who is not experiencing upabhoga, that means that there are two different entities here. There is this, there are actually all these souls who are experiencing this world in their own way. And there is this one person whom we are very clear is not experiencing the world. The very fact that there are two such persons having different experiences implies that each person is different. Okay, so your experience of this world is different from mine. See, for this, no, what you need to do is you need to consider what is consciousness. When you say single consciousness, then what do you mean? What is consciousness? So I think generally all of us will agree that consciousness refers to awareness. What you already know, what you are experiencing. So if your experience and your knowledge is different from another person, then what is the point in saying that we are the same consciousness? Because the awareness itself is different. Do you get that point? Is it clear to you?
I'm not clear. Uttara, could you please go over this? I'm not clear.
So what do you understand by consciousness? Let me ask you. Somebody would like to take it up?
See, consciousness, I, as far as I'm concerned, personally, I feel that awareness, I know things, what is happening within me and outside what is happening. That's
Exactly.
what.
So what it refers to your awareness, your knowledge. So
Yeah.
if now your awareness is different from another person's awareness, then what is the point in saying that we are the same consciousness? Because you are not experiencing the same thing. You are not knowing the same thing. So
Not here in this world for sure, but who knows?
so we are talking of the current situation itself. So firstly, in this world, what is pratyaksha to us? If this situation is not correct, is not valid, then who is to say what is in the other world? Nobody is giving us information from there. This little bit of information is coming through sages like Kapila only to us, and they are telling us that you can also see for yourself that there are all these multiple consciousnesses which are there, and that is proven also by the fact that the Jivan Mukt person has stopped Upabhoga, and yet you are continuing your Bhoga. So you are two different persons. He has become Mukt, he has become liberated, and you are still tied to this world. If you were the
So,
same thing,
Bhagini, actually, let us say at a given spot, there are two Jivan Mukta persons. Both have given up Bhoga, etc. So, obviously, both have reached certain state of Samya, and you can identify that they have some collective consciousness which is different from all of us who are so selfish. So, that is the philosophy
bring
behind that.
selfishness into this, we need not be selfish, even though we are doing Upabhoga. But see, even for those two Jivan Mukta which are there, firstly, a point is not proven by two things being even experiencing the same thing. I may be sitting next to a person who is also experiencing the same fan, the breeze of the fan, the temperature of the air. That does not, we should not take that to imply that we are the same consciousness. That is number one. Number two, these, when you have two things which are not experiencing the same thing, then that implies that they are different. If they are different, then we look at the things which may be similar. So how are we to know that the Jivan Mukta, one of them is looking at a river, one of them is looking at a mountain? So the one who is
But
looking
there
at
is no Upabhaga in that Karya. See, what I'm
Upabhoga
saying
is not
is,
there.
in
Upabhoga
the Purusha aspect of themselves, there is no Upabhoga because they are Jivan Muktas.
what is this Purusha aspect? That is what I'm asking you to think about. What do you understand by consciousness? What is the characteristic of consciousness?
The separation from the worldly body is what the entity that is us, but it is not, it is completely separated from what is this body.
So how is it separate? What is it? You have to give positive dharmas for it. Just by saying it is not this, we are not reaching anywhere. So when you
It is that singularity, as we call. So we cannot identify it as me.
yeah, it is singularity, but what does it characterize? How will you know that this is consciousness, and how will you know that this is not consciousness? It is not as if we don't know. You also know that this thing is conscious, you know that this thing is not conscious. So obviously there is some characteristic which we take as, yes, this thing is feeling and that thing is not feeling. This thing is conscious, this is not conscious. This one is aware, this is not aware. That is why I am calling this as inanimate and that one is animate. So now when we describe something as awareness as being consciousness, even scientifically, modern science, what is meant by consciousness? Awareness. When a being starts, set of atoms come together, form a living being, the being starts seeing itself as an entity and starts becoming aware of its environment and what is happening to it. That is when you say this has become a conscious being. When a stone is lying on a hill and it is not experiencing anything, it is an inanimate object. So when you start experiencing, that is called consciousness. And so if two things are experiencing two different things, one Jivan Mukta is looking at the river, he is seeing the river, which is his awareness at this point. The other one is looking at a mountain, he is seeing a mountain, that is his awareness at that time. That is also not matching. So therefore, they have to be different consciousnesses. Okay, so let us continue into the next one. This is, I know it is a very, very controversial one. It will take you some time. You need to ponder it over for yourself as well. Let us just do the next one, or maybe we will end it here, okay? And we will get into the next meeting. Okay, please log in once again. I'll end here.